It's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. Off your mind,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Politico, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar, just they get it higher power over naira. See them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Politico, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not they off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my ego, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my ego diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. lórí YouTube.
Ayégun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Ayégun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Ayégun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Ayégun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Ayégun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Ayégun ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Ayégun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Today. Hello there. So, good morning to us. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Welcome to the Temple of Truth. Tonight, kindly read beyond the caption of the broadcast, okay? Read the description as well. Yeah. Then like the broadcast. Share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them all that Mayegun today again. So tonight, we are opening the conversation from the writer of this broadcast, and that is the latest shot fired by Peter Obi's running mate in their 2023 charade, Ahmed Baba. Sorry, what's his name again? I had to kind of like set it up. Anyway, you can just call him Datti-Ahmed or Ahmed. Sorry, Datti-Ahmed, Baba Datti-Ahmed. Anyway, you shall know who I'm talking about, right? And that's the guy who warned everyone at the time, right? When Tinubu was to be sworn in just before the Supreme Court judgment. He was the one who said that if Tinubu ever got sworn in, that democracy would be dead in Nigeria because it would be so unconstitutional. It was also among the first people to call Tinubu illegitimate president. And then it's been off the radar for a while until recently when the Labour Party's leadership torso seemed to have been settled by the Supreme Court judgment, right? So he resurfaced to participate in their stakeholders meeting a few weeks ago. I think it was actually last week, was there? Anyway, Ahmed Datti-Ahmed, right, is back, or he is picking it up from where he stopped. Presently, Tinubu is very confident, okay? There are many things going on behind the scene, and almost the loudest to almost 80% of the happenings behind the scene are orchestrated or being coordinated by the political class, the elites, especially those who lost out in the sharing of the spoils of their 2023 charade, and then others who wanted the same position. So they have been stirring up a lot of things. Some of them, I will touch them tonight. However, Tinubu feels so confident. Like he's so confident that what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? You know, when he currently controls the institutions. Sorry about that. He currently controls the institutions, right? That ordinarily will be in charge of organizing your election and announcing same, right? So he's never going to, the way those around him have been parading themselves, or the same way they have been carrying themselves, you can tell that, it's more or less like they're nothing, So they have this coalition talk, by the way, the coalition talk led by Atiku and El Rufaya, including Tambuwa, just few faces that I can remember among them, right? So in their own talk, they are sounding like people who are in transit. Number one, Atiku is with PDP, right? and they still want to run again anyway. So El Rufaya is with SDP. Somehow, they said that he's trying to drag the SDP into a coalition and all that. All of this to probably agree on someone that will stand in an election organized by Tinubu, right? And then they're expecting to lose that. You see, when you even talk about winning or losing election, by the way, right? Coming up, you talk about winning and losing election, it will sound like that's just it. You know, elections are won and lost and all that. But that is not what they have in that contraption. Like, I may not want to go fully deeper into breaking it into pieces for you, okay, in what they called elections in that place, right? But it is mostly about the people that count the election. You know what I mean? Those ones who can count 100 votes and they can turn it to 1,000, 2,000, register it and stand by it, even if the number of voters are more than the accredited voters, you know, or that kind of abracadabra. Then they will tell you to go to court. But there are others who believe that, see, you can only rig an election if you are popular. Currently, Tinubu and his gang appears to be at least the worst kind of a group of people to be in charge of power in Nigeria since I was born. And I'm not saying this because I don't really like them. No. You know, one thing I told you about criticizing what these guys are doing, right? The difference between just criticize them, maybe because you don't like them, or support them blindly simply because you like them. That is not what we have on Mayegun's Diary Political. Just like we know that everybody knows about Nigeria's problem. Everybody is an expert about Nigeria's problem. And some of them are even experts in solutions and all of that stuff. Right? For Mayegun's Diary Political, you are not just going to hear about the problems, right? You are going to understand it. Then you're also going to know those behind it. And finally, you are going to know how this affects you and affects others. So you can put yourself in any of those kind of like frames as the analysis comes up. So that means you don't just hear about, oh, Boko Haram killed 5 people. Here you are likely going to get to know the people they killed and how they did it, and including those who are responsible by covering them up, you know, all that stuff. So that you can then picture, if you by any chance have to be a victim of that such incident at that time, right? So you can easily just be like, oh no, that's bad. So your reaction is always going to be different from when you just listen to somebody reading the news to you and just like, oh, than you actually being the character in what is happening, like hypothetically, by the way. So we do that on Mayegun's Diary Political. However, no matter how much I don't like them, do you understand? Like, oh, I don't like them. Maybe that's the, you know, the sort of the shortest, myopic sort of view that the Ronukus will see it as, but that is not the point, right? They are taking actions, making decisions, right, that are having far-reaching consequences on people. And these people are real people, real victims, who have also been subjected to almost like they are just numbers, statistics, you know what I mean? Replaceable. Life is worthless in all facets of life, say it. So, if they are doing fine, for example, let's say in the last 2 years, for example, you have reason with me, to those of you who possibly think that the only reason why we keep turning the heat on and waking the people up, right, to rise, you know, to the occasion, because whether they like it or not, sooner or later, the consequences of bad leadership, corrupt system, will catch up with all of us. We are just the victims waiting for our turn, like Nigeria, turn by turn, Nigeria Limited. So if I don't like them, which I don't, and I've got my reasons, right? So imagine in the last 2 years, for example, Okay, Nigeria has been so destroyed by Buhari, well, with the help of Tinubu and those around them at the time. Everybody saw that, but they felt like since they have the power, right, and they could convince others that those who are trying to take over from them are not better than them and all that, then twist the system in order for them to keep the power. So fine, for 8 years, Buhari destroyed Nigeria. Tinubu and the rest of all these clowns jumping and, from one place to the other, they were all alive. Some of them lived in denial. That means telling themselves, just like some of them are living in denial right now, telling themselves that maybe it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Being grateful. When you talk about the cost of rice, they will ask you, must you eat rice? If you say that the cost of your medication, they'll say, must you go to the hospital? Why not use Agbo? Do you understand? Say, well, the cost of data is so much. I mean, it's so expensive. This and that. They will ask you that must you use a smartphone? Can't you just go and get a Nokia 3310 and save money? You know what I mean? So they are always there, living in that denial. All right. So they were alive. They saw all the ruins and the destruction. He knew what he was up to or what he was like, yeah. But unfortunately, there was no real plan, right, for Nigeria other than grab the power in which they have. You know what I mean? So 2 years. So just imagine, right, that right now you only have just maybe, because of your law, fine, 36 ministers, right, in every state because of your law. What am I even saying? They can change that, right? Maybe you just currently have just 20 ministers. Special advisor, this say that, this and that, cut them off, save that fund, right? And categorically, at the same time, go to the National Assembly and tell them that this is the deal. They can no longer just write a blank check anymore. So cut the cost of governance to start with, you get? And let's say right now, you and I are now watching the Netflix series of the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, you know what I mean, the DSS, capturing different camps of different terrorists, their leaders. And right now, Sambisa Forest is like ground zero, where they are now building the everlasting, life camp for the captured terrorists. Once you go inside a place, you are going to die there. So something that actually tells you that you can sit in your room and see the operations of how these terrorists are being, you know what I mean? Stuff that will make you feel like people are now over 10 million Nigerians living in IDP camp and now back to their homes. Now, it doesn't matter how much, Mayegun doesn't like them. It doesn't matter. This will be like verifiable facts, right? You are the one who owns your crude oil. Let's even use that too. Something that actually touches everybody. Just the same way he came and he told you they removed subsidy while giving dollar subsidy to his own family member. Put it that way anyway. But just imagine for a sec that truly, genuinely, they are honest with you. It's your crude oil. Cut off all other stealing and the rest of that, right? And ensure that your refineries are indeed working. Enough that the same subsidy removed, crude oil can cover it without having to pay cash for it. You could be buying a liter of petroleum for at least 300 naira per liter. Do you know what that means on you? It doesn't matter how Mayegun, whatever Mayegun feels, it doesn't matter. I just imagine for another sec. I know one of the headaches, apart from the fact that you are paying for darkness in that place, all right? Now think for a second. Let's say as we speak, okay? Because I did my research. If you want to build a power generating plant, now this time, let us use the gas, right? So you can build a power plant, right, that can generate at least 1,000 megawatt of electricity within within 18 months. That is 1 year, 6 months. You can research it too, right? So just imagine if right now you are building, they are building modern power stations, right? Or okay, maybe if he is not the one building it, for example, just legislation last, I wanted to say just legislation last song. Legislation, right? Simple legislation, right, can change a lot of things, right? Break down this your power sector enough that every state that has the capacity or that can possibly partner with other private wherever, right? Set up their own power plants and they can sell to different states. So just for example, let's say 2 years now, nearly 2 years, for somebody who knew where you are, who knew what you were battling with, right? Who lived in that contraption too, they are there. Just that they are living in their own different world, the world of greed and selfishness. So self-centered, so narrow-minded that all they care about is that power. And then the money, paper money, that they can use. Ghana must go to be moving about here and there just to buy favor, influence this and that. And that is what they call politics. It's never about governance, right? So let's imagine that you currently have like over 20,000 megawatts of electricity projects going all over Nigeria right now. They are not buying cars, so they are not buying yachts, they are not buying new aircraft. So I'm talking about using that your scarce resources, right? As you are returning people back to the farms, and at the same time, you are like, the economy will peak by itself. And there is no amount of I don't like them that will change any of that. So you can no longer replace incompetence, corruption, and what have you. You can't replace them with the excuse that, well, it's because they don't like them. What about you that likes them? It's the same way, right? By the way, it's the same way. When you say people should stop cursing Nigeria, it's because of all these curses. That is why this country is what it is. The amount of curses that people call, I say, okay, fine. Your criminal leaders are people whose actions their actions worth of being caused, no doubt. So what happened to your own prayers? Especially those of you who are their lackeys, they are, what do you call them here? They are usual voluntary slaves. At least some of you are praying. I remember when some of you, especially the Rolukus that are watching me right now, I remember when some of you used to come on social media to type, may Buhari succeed, may Buhari succeed. So what you were praying for was for Buhari and his family and his fellow thieves, terrorists, the jihadists, to succeed in their mission. And they almost succeeded. They succeeded in destroying Nigeria economy, by the way, that Nigeria can't recover from that for a very long time. A very long time. That is why some observers felt like 2023 could be a chance to block the hemorrhage and the bleeding. But unfortunately, the establishment succeeded in installing this druggie. You know what I mean now? So what happened to... I also remember when some of these Buhari idiots at the time actually called us enemies of Nigeria, because of Nigeria here. Majority of them today have now changed their DPs to Tinubu's, and they are now saying, may Tinubu succeed. So whether Tinubu will succeed or will fail is actually completely up to Tinubu. And from all of his actions and the actions of people around him, obviously he's not interested in succeeding in making your lives better, but maybe he will succeed in further destroying your lives. But again, I remember again when some of you were like everywhere, you, the Ronukus, the bad idiots. I do remember when you used to pray, may the Tinubu's government favor you and your family. I have not seen all of this in a while, including those ones that used to kind of like carry the banner, or is that the badge of being a bat idiot? Say, are you batified? You say, I'm batified. Are you batified? I'm batified. So they say now hunger, they try to reset everybody. In the long run, right? In the long run, Ahmed Datti, who believes that they would have done a better job if it was them. You see, I know one of the things, or let me say, one of the kind of the advantages that the criminal politicians in Nigeria have is that majority of the population suffers from what is called the Stockholm syndrome. Google it, right? So they suffer from that. I kind of can remind you a little bit, if you don't mind. It took these obedient people just about 16, 17 months. In fact, it was less than that. Just a year, 12 months to pull what they pulled the last time. So the people destroying people, the articulators and co, right? To them, Tinubu is president of Nigeria today simply because of the obedience. Okay? You remember that when Peter Obi went on to go and join this Labour Party, it was after he had toured the entire Nigeria, 36 states of Nigeria, speaking to this PDP delegate. That's also another factor. Set of people that determines who and who will become your candidates. And these are those who are mostly illiterates, but they are very, very kind of like influential in their party settings, all right, in that corrupt system, okay? So he met with a lot of them, but they told him he didn't probably have enough money to share like that of Wike, right? So then he moved to the Labour Party a year before your election, a year. That was when this your tsunami of obedience, and then Yakubu still gave you 6 million votes. So to Ahmed Datti, they would have done a different job, or they would have cut waste, or they would have removed subsidy, but not the whole of it. They would have cut corruption. They would have, but we will never know. However, he strongly believes that swearing in Tinubu to be your president was one of the greatest historical mistakes that Nigeria, if it continued to exist, would be one of the greatest mistakes that Nigeria has ever made. And Tinubu is just unraveling. However, he is also very convinced to some extent that if Tinubu is smart enough, the ideal thing for him is not to run in 2027. You know, like he shouldn't run in 2027 or else his defeat will be so outstanding that, right, it will be kind of like he will regret not taking his advice. Okay, I spoke about all factors surrounding this, talk about their 2027. Politicians think about the next elections. Leaders think about the next generation. Tinubu's 2027 run began just the same day he told all of you subsidy was gone. May 29, 2023. That was the day they kickstarted this 2027 run. But maybe there's something that the likes of Datti probably do know that we don't. And also, if their coalition fail, which is likely that it's going to, right? Obi and his own team currently controls the Labour Party because of the Supreme Court ruling. We don't know for how long. Since Lamidi Otapampas, as well as Abure himself, right, are claiming, they are claiming the chairmanship of the parties, okay? Of the party. But to Ahmed Datti, talking about Tinubu, his first grouse with Tinubu being put in power was the illegitimacy around it. And I think that still works on him though, right? Watch this.
I expect Tinubu to throw in the towel. If he is that, you see, a sworn-in government needs to be and must be consistent with the constitution of the country. And now, if I were to open the relevant sections to you that we have discussed before, they are at variance with the justice served on Nigeria. So with due respect to the justice system, it is valid to ask, did the custodians of the law do the lawful? And the answer is simply no. We do recognize that the courts have the power to do all and everything, but that all and everything must be justice. The sworn-in Tinubu Shettima government does not strictly comply with the Nigerian constitution as it were today. So it is not out of place for any objective mind to still call it unconstitutional. Mildly, one could say it is questionably constitutional. But then here's the big rejoinder to it. 9 out of 16 Nigerian leaders did not buy INEC forms. Yet they served their terms. One of them 9 years, General Gawan, President Babangida 8 years. Nothing could, they were not consistent with the then written constitution because the constitutions were suspended. The point I'm making is that you could be a president, you could be a head of state, you could be a leader, you could be a dictator, so long as you are allowed to remain there. And the big point here is that Tinubu was allowed and is allowed to remain there, despite the efforts of people like me. You remember my efforts. I called clearly for Tinubu Shettima not to be sworn in. And it was legal, it is legitimate up to now. Why? I gave my reasons. Then, did the Nigerian Constitution have an alternative to that? Yes, of course, very constitutional. Ahmed Lawal could have served to, I think, 8th or 9th of June. And at the point of electing a new Senate president, he acts out the balance of 90 days during which a second or rerun election was to be held because Tinubu Shettima did not satisfy the demands of the Constitution to be sworn in. However, it was allowed. I tried to legitimately form what I called then the Constitutional Crisis Resolution Group. All we had to do was to take 3 documents, the Constitution, INEC results, and the options. Go to Washington, Brussels, London, Addis Ababa, on 29th, occupy Eagle Square. Tinubu will not be there today. And the beauty of stopping injustice is that it will not perpetrate itself. Bad leadership is a virus. What do viruses do? They create more, they become more and more and more. We should have stopped this before it happened, and legitimately so, constitutionally so, irrespective of the powers, the DSS, the police, you simply serve a notice. You see, the word democracy is still having a great deal to be understood. When you have a democracy, it means that at some point in time, the people will come out and be the arbiters themselves. Right now, Nigerian governments are governments because they have the army, they have the police and all those security forces surrounding and protecting them while they misrule. And the Nigerian people have no propensity to really take up their government. Well, that is the meaning of democracy, that behind the Nigerian army, there is the army of the Nigerian people, whom if you transgress their constitution, they will come out against it. Well, now, bad leadership has realized the incapacity of Nigerians to come together and protect their rights. That is why I told you that if you cannot practice democracy, for God's sake, democracy is not for you. There were the hunger protests about last year also. But when you have 1,000 people doing what 1 million people should do.
Exactly. He's right in that regard. I mean, you can't even okay, hang on. I think you can. You know, what I wanted to say is that you can't really understand this opposition of a thing in Nigeria. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can, because there's no real opposition per se, all right? They are all bodies. They are kind of like party and what have you. So sabotaging this and that for the sake of this and that is what they call opposition in that place. So it's not really, because if not, right? You say you have a country of 200 million people, but the opposition in Nigeria cannot call out 1 million people. Now, what kind of opposition is that? Oppositions who are so afraid in order not to upset the DSS because they don't want to go sleep for cell or prison or something. Others are like, well, it's because if they start acting like opposition, the government will tell you who they really are. Okay? So if you are looking for those who are not, the reason why Nigeria is not working and Nigeria will never work, and you are blaming us, fine. But let's show you all of us. So you're going to see your bishop, you are going to see your Satan, you are going to see your, what do you call it, your royal father, Abi. You're going to see this and that. And you guys look at that one. We are all together. We are all destroying this contraption. So nobody is a saint, kind of. So because of that, some of them can't really form a true opposition. Opposition that cannot call out 1 million people. Now, opposition with that. Huh? Because I don't understand. Oh, if you try to call out for a rally or for a protest now, they will frame him up. They are going to put him in prison. But we have seen so many opposition being put in prison all over the world by their own ruling party who want to flex their muscle. But guess what? The people's will is stronger than the... Look, hang on. I think Princess said that it is the people's power. The people's power is more potent than the power of the people in power. Kind of. You know? Opposition in Nigeria. You know, it's like they are like that. Like, oh, let's tell Nigerians to go and probably fight for themselves. And if it works, then we can latch on it and begin to say we're on the side of the people, because nobody wanted to be seen as leading the charge. We're not anymore. Bokwari, Tinubu, Pastor Ruga, Oshiomole, name it, all those guys. Even El Rufai, the Kaduna Little Finger, they all brought out their faces to challenge Egberejo Lantern. They organized rallies, protests against Egberejo Lantern in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Kaduna, all over the place. So, what kind of opposition do you have now? The type that is just trying to leverage on the people's misery, unfortunately. Well, that's not how Datti sees it. So Datti believes that the 2027 of a thing is going to be between Tinubu and the people. That you can only rig if you are popular. And you can only rig where you are popular. Tinubu's regime has brought on toward hardship. And therefore, the people will reject him. And if he is very, very smart like they claim he is, the right thing for Tinubu right now is to throw in the towel, okay? Never run in 2027. This is what that is saying. So that means we are going to have Obi Datti. They are going to begin to hear about them now after May 2025, right? After next month. Because to Tinubu and his gang, right? Hundreds of billions of naira have been set aside for this project. They will buy anything buyable, beat it into some of you until they have what they want. So is Datti right? Because to Datti, right, that is like, this is not even about corruption. It's also about incompetence. Take a look at Tinubu's appointees. Take a look at what they are doing. I mean, fine, in fairness, right? Tinubu can't do or won't do everything. Is your presidiot. Every stock ends on this table, right? Fine. So he has appointed people, okay, to handle ministry, this, handle that. So normal. They should have all they need to impact your lives. But Tinubu has nearly 50 ministers, 48 by the way, or 49. Manuel said, right? 49 ministers, the highest ever in the history of Nigeria presidency. And yet, the one in charge of power is dealing in darkness. The one who is the Minister of Defense. Do you even know your Minister of Defense? Do you? One of the Minister of Defense is called Patawale. He is a terrorist sponsor. I didn't say it. It was one of the terrorists who said he is a sponsor. Not just that. Oh, his own successor, Dauda Lawal, from Zamfara, said that they captured terrorists. The moment they hand them over to the police, they say order from Abuja. Order from Abuja said they should release them. That's the person that beat Patawale until Patawale became the minister on that Tinubu, in charge of defense. Somebody will get his own illegal mine in Zamfara. armed young men to continue to cause havoc, but he's the minister. He said they lied to him. He said he used Quran to swear that he has nothing to do with terrorism. His own successor said he does have something to do with terrorism. That's the Minister of Defense. Badaru from Jigawa, another thief. That's your Minister of Defense, in case if you don't know. So the two of them are former governors of Zamfara and Jigawa. So who is your Minister of Agriculture? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. For real, I don't. I know Tinubu is your Minister of Petroleum, so you don't even know where he is, do you? Some said that maybe Tinubu don't collapse somewhere. I say, well, don't feed into that, okay? But sometimes that's what they want you to be saying, okay? And then you'll be wishing maybe something should happen to him. So Datti believes that what is better for Tinubu right now is to throw in the towel, because he's not just only an illegitimate president of Nigeria, he's also an incompetent fellow that surrounds himself with ass lickers, praise singers, court jesters, those who just want to massage his ego. But when it comes to delivery, I look around now. Okay, that's it.
I expect Tinubu to throw in the towel. If he is that smart politician that he turns out to be. You know me, I say the truth. For someone to have organized 2007, culminating in his electoral heist in 2023, that person must be super smart politician. I'm not praising him at all. It's not good to be what really he is that I don't want to say. But look, he skipped 2007 and jokingly made Atiku candidate, made Ribadu and somebody 11, made Buhari in 15, Buhari won, and then skipped 2019 and then stole 2023. If he is that smart, everything is there for him that he's going to lose 2027. If he is that smart, because everything is there. There are two possible candidates that I cannot mention, and they are the nemesis of Tinubu. Tinubu's time has come. It has been proven that APC is a lie. Buhari did not develop Nigeria. Buhari did not provide security. Buhari did not fight corruption. Neither will Tinubu ever do this. So going forward, I see APC losing this election. I see Nigerians somehow uniting. Listening to what someone like me is saying that, look, if you cannot practice this democracy, it's not for you. And then Nigerians will decide to come out and practice democracy for the first time. And then bad leadership will begin to have no hiding place in Nigeria. And then gradually we'll begin to heal our land. We'll begin to recover. We'll begin to unite and take each other's as fellow Nigerians, brothers and sisters. Yes, but to make matters even simple for you, is just to put it very shortly, the quality of leadership in Nigeria has fallen to the ground. I'll quickly give you two examples. I'm not making it up. There is electronic evidence everywhere. A highly placed official of this government said, let everywhere burn. And the next day there were bombings in that state. A serving minister said, let the whole place burn. Please, go back to the 1980s. During President Babangida's time, a military governor just made a passing statement that if he were in service in 1966, he would have joined the coup. Immediately relieved of his commissioning, and that was it. Immediately. This minister who said, let the whole place burn, right now is waxing stronger and stronger and stronger in government. The Nigerian people are not calling for his head because he's too rich, he's too powerful. the president and the vice presidents are so incompetent, they are carried away by their 2027 agenda and the relationship between themselves, that they cannot call a highly placed cabinet member who says, let the whole place burn, for God's sake. Is this leadership? Is this the kind of leader he should have? He is so powerful that as I speak here, I should be concerned of what he can do and he can't do. Is this leadership or is this brigandage?
Well,
I'll give you another example
right.
of how bad leadership has become, the way leaders think. Peter Obi gave scholarship, together with me, gave scholarship to a 17-year-old tricycle rider who returned 15 million pounds. And another elected official stood up and donated 250 million. $250 million, because Peter Obi and I gave scholarship, thinking that money is all about it. Why wouldn't such people go and steal the resources of their country, or of their states, or of their country? Leadership has crashed. The quality has crashed.
Well, let me take
Rule of law. Rule of law means nothing.
Sure.
Now in Nigeria, justice, okay, can be twisted to fit anything, to the extent that even when the Constitution clearly spells out, the justice system can turn justice into injustice, because there is nothing the people can do.
Well,
you're Nigerians. The message is,
right.
Look, you're Nigerians. You cannot come out. You cannot challenge. You cannot defend your democracy. So we will do what I expect.
Ahmed, Datti, Datti-Ahmed, Baba Datti-Ahmed. It's crazy. After 2023, though, right, his own brother, who is like Ahmed Baba Datti, Ahmed Datti Baba. So, you know that guy? Yeah, the one with the Arewa Consultative Forum. Those ones who usually give press conference like almost every AK and 4 day, like that, remember? Where he later went on to go and become special advisor to Shittyman. Oh, talking about Shittyman, by the way, did you hear that rumor that they have sort of like quarantined him in Assholerock? Yeah. But he has come out to deny it. And that is why I believe it is true. Do you get that now? So when Tinubu was wearing that his pampers, they pee himself that time, right? It was all based on an intel. You know, it was believed that somehow within the circle, their circle in the north, they said that they told them that Tinubu had a terminal illness, that it will soon die. So which simply means, even though they don't see him as a Muslim, okay, they don't see Tinubu as a Muslim. So they're like, even though we don't see him as a Muslim, but there's a chance that within a year, or maybe 2, right, the power will return back to the north. Like, they actually believe in that ridiculousness that Tinubu had to begin to put up a show about it. Tinubu is not well. That one is not in doubt. Okay? But somehow, right, he has been advised early enough to go and, like Bukwari, to go and pick his own specialist doctors. Yeah. American Hospital in Paris, France. But while they were at it, that was why you saw Tinubu with this drip being admitted syringe coming back from France there, right? That's why you saw him peed himself, going to the Awijale and all of that. So it worked. Yeah, it's conspiracy theory, you would say, but it actually kind of like fits in, okay? So it worked enough that I have seen some of those that I want to believe were the supporters of a Shittyman, you know, in their efforts in trying to express their regrets They said that Tinubu lied to them. See him, he was acting like he was sick. He was doing like this. He was all of those things. So Tinubu was acting. That's what they call it. They said he's acting. No, he's not acting. Or if you think he's acting, that they decided to back him until now. Right now, it is believed that Shittyman is like a megad in AssoRock. Like, not megad, but like supervisory megad. Africa Wala. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like somebody who is not a laborer. So somebody who is a laborer. It's like a senior laborer. They can call them supervisor, kind of like, yeah. They said he is so useless, yeah, that Gajabia Mole would actually have packs of some useless sort of like invitations. You get what I mean now? Like the Obi of Onitsha's dog just gave birth to triplets and they want to dedicate the dogs. Can you go? Shittyman. Say, sure, why not? I can go. They will go there. Now he's acting like that of Pastor Ruga as well, being the special, like, acting as a special advisor to Tinubu on condolences visits, burial arrangements, except for the trader money. He said that Pastor Ruga was too nice. And anybody who is a nice man should just endeavor to go and sell ice cream. Right now, what they have given to Shittyman to sell is worse than selling goro inside traffic. So people started noticing and they said that it's so useless. Enough that they suspect that it is deliberate. Tinubu was going to France, then to London. And it's going to be away for almost 20 days. And he never felt like he should hand over to his own deputy. Bokwari did the same to Pastor Ruga a few times. The only time that Bokwari handed the power over to Pastor Ruga was when Pastor Ruga sacked Lawal Daura, the Daura Secret Service of that time, the director. You remember him? Yeah, the one that invaded the courts, the judges' quarters, also invaded the National Assembly. I don't know if you remember. Oh, yeah, you remember now, right? Good. So the only first time they handed over power before he left, and since Tinubu became your president, he has been away from Nigeria when you start counting the days, right? So you see 365 days makes a year. Between 2023 and 2024, and between 2024 and 2025, right? So I think that's pretty much like 720 or 730 days, Abby. Somehow. Now 730 days. Tinubu has spent over 300 days outside Nigeria. That's just in 2 years. Yeah. Including France, by the way, including France. So he never handed the power over to Shittyman for some reason, because to them they believe that Tinubu, who is now a ghost worker, including Shittyman, who is also a ghost worker. They are there, like you do know, to pretend that you have a president and you have vice president, which is what majority of you are currently doing. In all going on in the country right now, normally you would have your vice president in charge, organizing meetings and responding to emergencies and all of that stuff. Nobody gives a shit about you in that contraption, unfortunately. They don't give a damn. So these guys are the number 1 and number 2 ghost workers in Nigeria. So when they said that Shittyman is now being controlled, it's like saying, no pass here. Imagine that. Because AssoRock, right, is not just, it's not just a building. It's like, it's like, government house now. That is where Tinubu and Shittyman lives. Do you get that now? That is where they work. And everybody working with them and all of that, they are all over the place called the AssoRock. So now they don't put arrow. That time when we do corona, They put arrow, say this way, walk this way, arrow. No turn left to turn right. No look left to. That's how they said they are treating Shittyman inside the AssoRock. That his own people feel so humiliated, so embarrassed when they witness what they are subjecting him to. So the first person to respond was Onofunuga. Onofunuga came out and said, that's not true. I was like, okay, if I didn't believe it before, now I do. Then the Shittyman came out and said, no, they have been treating me fine. I've not been restricted to anywhere in AssoRock. Now, this is just internal, okay? But part of what we have heard is that Tinubu is planning to replace him, you know, like the way the whole thing is going, the way the whole power, wherever is going, he's going to need somebody probably more radical, you know, somebody probably more Mahmuda, Abila Kurawa, or somebody will be seen like a swapped kind of like packaged. The way they are hearing it, but I'm not sure. They are mentioning Dogara, the former speaker. Dogara is a Christian. And to these fanatics from northern Nigeria, infidels, nah, babu. That's something that they teach them from young. You see that hatred of, you know, the violence that is associated with the kind of Islam they practice in Nigeria is through indoctrination, by the way. There's a video. It's a video of, you know, children, right? It's recorded somewhere, I think it's in Kano or so, right? Children, oh, they can't be more than 10 years old, right? And they were bullying another child, another boy, okay? Now, this boy is a Christian. Those other children, they are Muslims. Children, I keep emphasis on these children, oh, they're like children. And you can know that, you know, their innocence has been like taken away from them, okay? Now they have been taught this hatred, but laced with religious fanaticism. Children. We're talking about how they are going to actually beat the boy up or even kill him because he doesn't pray, doesn't go to the mosque and all that stuff. So these are the kinds that are recruitable for all kinds of terrorism, including being used repeatedly for election malpractices. Children.
Daga na kuka janyo shi? Shi ne kuka kawo shi a bakin masallaci. Ko ya shiga masallaci ya sallaci.
Ko ya kusa yaron nan ya yi tafiya gaba Allah. Don kuwansa har ne na ban zai sallah. Ko mu karya shi Allah. Ya ce ba zai.
Ya shiga masallaci. Ya sunansa?
Ya ba su, har ya sunanka. Kai za mu canja sunanka. Sunanka yi su. Ba ka shi.
Kai.
Dan ba sa ka faɗa na abin.
Ya sunansa?
Ya sunansa ba so.
Ebaso.
What is your name?
Ebaso.
What is your name?
They are not playing, if you understand Hausa very well, right? What they are actually saying is what makes the video very much scary. Children, they were telling a little boy that they will kill him. He doesn't pray, he doesn't go to the mosque to go and pray. He's an infidel. I will kill you and I'll take your bike, like take your bike from you. Like, you know, recruitable terrorists. They indoctrinate them. They take their innocence away from them. They teach them this hatred and violence that is associated with it. And it becomes so real that they feel dedicated. They feel obligated to carry out some of these attacks as instructed because they've been indoctrinated to do so anyway. You know? Now, talking about Tinubu and Shittyman again. Just, I think it was yesterday, right? I saw Yeye Bello, right? The white lizard of Kogi, the guy that crawled into a hole for almost a year, running away from the EFCC because he stole over 107 billion naira when he was their governor in Kogi State. He's out. He's on bail, right? He's out right now, and he is one of the APC leaders. So recently, I think it was yesterday, right? So they had a campaign. I think they want to have a local government elections or so in Kogi State, I think. Well, the reason why I'm going to show you this video I'm about to share with you now is that he happened to be one of the arrowheads that came in the last minute to try to save Tinubu from his own lifetime, defeat and disgrace, right? Last minute, but somehow they never made it to Tinubu's, all of criminal fames. The criminal and their fame, all of criminal fame. So they make it, but still, since they already have his balls, right, in the hands of Tinubu's appointee, that pastor, RCCG pastor of EFCC, right? So we saw Yeye Bello, right, warning everyone that in 2027 there will be no vacancy in AssoRock. Oh, that sounds familiar. Hear it. Gandola was there too. Criminals who are supposed to be in jail. I mean, I don't know how you see them, make I not lie you. Every time I look at all these criminals, I am just so wowed. Like if to say things were working normally, like if to say Nigeria is a real place, so like normal. These guys I'm bringing to your screen. Like jail, they're supposed to. You don't understand. Like people are supposed to be saying, you see all these criminals, all these guys, their life would have been better if they never joined politics. They joined politics, they looted money, now they are serving life in jail. But they are the political leaders in Nigeria. Powerful. Yeye Bello.
To be APC 100%. Remember, when I speak, it's like it is the oracle that is speaking. So whatever I say, put your mind and your attention to it. It will definitely happen. Remember when I said one of my brothers, then when I was a governor, that he will join us. That various APC, PDP governors will join us. They all joined us. And I said one of my brothers is going to join us and work in the government of APC. Today, I am happy that the Honorable Minister of State is enjoying that our brother. His Excellency, yes, Wike, we're all enjoying him in FCT because he's doing wonderful job for us here in FCT and for the country. Therefore, all the area councils will be APC. It is just a little time that it will take. Let me commend our national chairman. Let me commend the state chairman of FCT, Alhaji Usman, for all the wonderful job you've been doing. When I came into this arena, I was shocked to see the mama crowd that turned out within this shortest possible time. You are all gathered here under this scorching sun for this unity rally. I sincerely appreciate the former minister of FCT, my wonderful dear sister, Hajia Ramatu Tijani, for contributing his own hard water as well in the development of FCT and APC in FCT.
A round of applause for that.
Let me tell you that this mandate that Mr. President is carrying is the mandate of the people. And the people of this country are speaking. And I want to assure you that come 2027. There is no vacancy in AssoRock.
Yes.
Yes.
There is no vacancy
In AssoRock.
Louder.
There is no vacancy
In AssoRock.
Oh, yes.
I'll use this opportunity once again to appreciate all the founding fathers of our party. Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu played a significant and very pivotal role in ensuring that we have the party we are all driven to join today. We appreciate our former president and the first president under the platform of the All Progressive Congress, President Muhammadu Buhari. He has said it times without fail.
Nuisance Lele.
So it's the garden of thieves. It was in FCT, not in Kogi. So, yeah, just change that. Gandola was there too. And of course, like I said, somebody who is supposed to be in jail is the national chairman of this APC, Egbekegbe. Someone who is supposed to be in jail for drug running. A long time ago, that majority of you should never have heard about him. Is your presidiot today? It is the gathering or the conglomeration of criminals. That's why some say they are like all present criminals. APC.
We have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for bringing us at this important moment, for this important occasion. As you are all aware, this rally, we call it unitary, because the Federal Capital Territory is a geographical location that all Nigerians are united. Also, Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, during the campaign, when we had a meeting with stakeholders from FCT, they made one important request. They said they wanted him to appoint an indigene of FCT as a minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Right there and then, he answered positive. And today, we have Honorable Minister, Special Duties, former chairman of AMAC, a grassroots politician, a man who contributed with the FCT chapter to make this gathering a huge success. Therefore, the elders of FCT, the youth wing of FCT, the women wing of FCT, they all came to our office. They said, since Mr. President has appointed an indigene as the minister of the Federal Development of Nigeria, and many other political appointments, they said we should give them, we should permit them. We should permit them so that all the area councils in FCT and the senator of FCT, House of Representatives in FCT, all of them will be from APC political party. Oh. Have you agreed on that?
Yes.
Do you believe in that?
Yes.
You raise up your hand if you believe. Oh.
ABC! ABC!
nuisance lele.
Those are the weirdos in charge of that contraption, where they are the weirdos you are seeing today. There are worse weirdos, right, that you are yet to discover, or maybe those you know that you are yet to uncover their own madness. Nigeria is like, man, 250 million people. They say there have been 220 million people. And yet the worst of the worst are the characters they call leaders. It's not like they actually want them as leaders, even though there are those who wanted them. But they have to force themselves on you. You know? So sad. Anyway, Wirewike, as part of his chat yesterday, okay, he was asked, would he be able to now deliver Rivers State to Tinubu? And this is his answer.
Will you deliver the PDP to the president, to President Tinubu in 2027? Why? I know you are not an APC member, but will you deliver?
Who is Tinubu other than me? Why are you asking me that kind of?
Because you are still a member of the
you know why you shouldn't ask me that question.
Will you deliver?
So if I heard him right, I think he said that who is Tinubu without me? Because that's exactly what some headlines have been quoting. Who is Tinubu without me? What does that mean? Okay. We'll leave that to those who are very good in putting together, such a kind of like a thought. So I will waste much of my time on that. And that was Wirewike in Lagos, somewhere called Oremeta, in Ojodubaga in Lagos, right? A popular restaurant. The building collapsed while the customers were inside. That triggered a panic all over the area. Like, how did the building that never really looked distressed collapse like that? Well, anyway, there were so many reactions and what have you, but from the first start, I got some pictures from the scene. I'll share with you.
Ní ọ̀rẹ́ mẹ́ta street gbogbo ewu wálẹ̀. Ìbọn wọ̀nyẹn ló tún bẹ̀ tán kámẹ́rà yẹn. Gáàsì irun náà máa mú àti bí yóò lọ́wọ́ bẹ̀ tán kámẹ́rà. Ok, wọ́n máa wò. Òde upstairs jẹ́ kí méjì wo ewu wálẹ̀. Ewu wálẹ̀ mọ́tò wà lábẹ́ o. Wọ́n ṣe gbégi ẹ̀kan yóò sì ni. Wọ́n ṣe gbégi ẹ̀kan yọ nínú ẹ̀ sí ni àwọn tí àwọn èèyàn gbé jáde gan wọn tó lọ́ọ̀sì náà wọn abẹ́ òtẹ́ẹ̀lì wọn tí wọ́n gbé jáde wọn ṣàánú o wọn ṣàánú o láìláìlá ó jẹ́ kí n bóyá wálẹ̀.
It's like a two-story building. So there's a restaurant. Some said that it's actually an hotel. And the building that collapsed there is more than one different stories. But even though from the video that you just saw there, you barely see the rescue team. People are having, you know, the people, the passerby, the spectators, right? The crowd had to make themselves rescue sort of like agents, okay, at the scene. And that's actually how things work in that place, because it's the what do you call them again, the NEMA or rescue team or emergency team and the rest, they have always never been enough, you know. Anyway, there is no report of anybody dead yet. So they've removed more than 6 people so far before this broadcast, and they are still working on bringing more and more people out. So you just don't know which house is safe and when is it going to come down. Like, this is another thing about corrupt system, corrupt, compromised system, whereby safety is compromised. People's lives are put in this arm's way, like, you know. So, but you don't know which house. You can enter any building to go and transact something, an hotel or what have you. If their if their structure is compromised, you know, construction is pretty much like a shortchanged and all that, and then you can just from sleep to grave. And I would go. Imagine I'm lodging in one of the hotel or one of the rooms, and then boom, like. Just open my eyes, I just see myself in like, wait, when come down, come here, walk straight down. Walk straight down, bow from where to where. Alaye, come here, Jerry. Now the hell be that, now the heaven be this. So yeah, come here, let's check your story. You know, kind of like, just like, no, I can't just be dead. I was there, you know. Anyway, we hope that there won't be any casualty per se. That is the consequences of compromised system. Lives will be lost whenever a system is compromised. Whenever a system is compromised as well, at the end of the day, somebody is going to get hurt. Always, somebody's going to get hurt. Unfortunately, the war you have in Nigeria is like a systemic rot. There are many of us who are going to get, who are getting hurt right now.
Under the wall of the government, and you can see that and opposition is ongoing. I need to advise the good people of Lagos State to remain cool and calm and collected. We are on top of the we are working with the local people. We are working with all the following. You see, when they are talking about elections is not about rescue operations. The most important thing is that we're on top of the challenge, and all the first responders are on that. And you can see us using various equipment. We are using light duty equipment, we are using heavy duty equipment, we are taking Nobody say that there is no road call. You get what I'm trying to say? But the most important thing is that we are going to get to ground zero. You get what I'm trying to say? By the time we get to ground zero, we will see everything that is in there, and we are going to give comprehensive report. What assurance are you giving to the relatives of some of the people who may be affected here? Some of them are outside. The assurance that I'm giving them that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the executive governor of Lagos State, is aware of the situation, and he has been coordinating the response plan. And you can see that all four battalions that are involved in emergency in Lagos State are on the ground, and we are going painstakingly, we are going to ground zero. So I appeal to our good people to remain cool and calm. We will get to ground zero. This is where you do person there. If you tell why you want there. Oh yeah, zipper.
That's from the scene of a collapsed building in Lagos. So we're in Ojudubaga in Lagos today, right? So also, somebody sent in a video that they have now spotted the Enugu BRT on the streets. This is just an extra. That's from Enugu. So finally, tonight, to those of you who have been very much aware of the geopolitics outside Nigeria, what led there to the emergence of Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore, the 36-year-old president of Burkina Faso. The young man who has survived over 25 assassination attempts on his life. There's a report, right, today that he just escaped another assassination attempt. This time around, 7 people have been arrested, including the chief of staff, his own chief of staff, who was pointed among those who collected 2.8 billion franc, right, which is $41 million to get him out. He is still battling with the Janjaweed terrorist in Burkina Faso as we speak. He's battling with sanctions from America, sanctions from the Europe, sanctions from France, sanctions from Nigeria and others. So also today there was a report of which initially people thought it was like another coup was taking place in Burkina Faso. So Ouagadougou, the country's capital, is said to have witnessed the surge in the military presence, okay, since that incident. So it was to be taken out. There's something about African history in which, if you look at the African history or African leadership history from the lenses of the Africans themselves, and I'm not talking about the Western commissioned historians or writers or whatever, right? Because we did have all those, and we still do have them as well. when you see people who understand that the leadership history of Africa and how many supposed homegrown leaders that were produced by different African countries, but they never lasted. So they were to be eliminated either by assassination, by coup, or a revolution sponsored by them, or a rebellion sponsored by the West to take them out. So Traore, a very young man who, out of the dust of what the France, what they've made of their country, for decades, their country have served, and many other countries in this French-speaking part of West Africa, they've served the generations of French people, or the French, and to the detriment of their own people, progress and development. But unfortunately, the elites of Burkina Faso were comfortable with the peanuts, the crumbs that were being fed them by France, while their common patrimony, their resources were being, looted out, okay? But it wasn't without their, it was not without their consent. So they agreed to it until Traore appeared on the scene. In 2022, himself, as one of the presidential guard in Burkina Faso, decided to take over the reign of government. And since then, it's been, apart from the assassination attempt on his life, the north central of the country is like ravaged with all kinds of terrorism, especially the Janjaweed terrorists, who surprisingly are now being supported by France. They are called human rights, they're fighting for their rights in Burkina Faso. Seriously. So Burkina soldiers, their army, they've lost so many of them. But it's been like the height of Traore's presidency in Burkina Faso. Insecurity caused by the terrorism, caused by the funding from France, evidently. Or should I use allegedly? Okay, evidently. You know what I mean? So repeatedly, they have consulted with a lot of a group of people within and outside the Burkina Faso to get rid of him. True story. And that's what kind of makes him more admirable to so many Africans. I'm saying this because if you have seen those who are like non-Burkina Faso people, like non-Burkina people, right? People from Africans from outside Burkina Faso, they are so passionate about him. His story, right, resonates so well with them because he is considered, especially during the face-off with France, a lot of people also fear for his life because they believe that you may wake up one morning and then the story will be like he's been killed. Hopefully not so, don't get me wrong. But that's how much value they placed on his life, simply because he stands in between, the France colonists as well as their local, partners in Burkina Faso, in milking the Burkina Faso people and then dipping them further in what we call the lifetime of poverty. So they are poor, they are not arguing, but they believe that they are rich, only that they are naturally made, so they are like artificially or manly made poor by selfish people who just care, who doesn't care about them, but just care about their resources. So we hope, right, that all this evil thought on this young man, especially the fact that despite all limitations, sanctions, and what have you, he's been able to put his country right there in the map, on the map, where people believe there are things are happening, right? Like, there's effort. You know what I mean? Like they are making effort to show to you that if they are not targeted and this progress is not truncated, they are likely going to be in a place that a lot of people will ever imagine. In 10 years' time, there is more battle to fight, especially the battle to keep him alive. Why does France want him gone? They've tried everything, it didn't work. Now people are concerned that, we're just going to wake up one day. Now, that also speaks to that part where they say that we are so powerless as Africans. It's like we are so powerless. We understand those who are responsible for our dilemma, for all the stuff wrong with us. We also understand those who are their collaborators, their friends in the West and all that, right? But despite all of that, we always still have that limitation of, maybe somebody else should come and do it for us. Because we don't want to be killed. We don't want to be jailed. And then we don't want to be denied visas going to this country. So I don't want them to see me like, so it's crazy, right? It is, So we wish Ibrahim Traore all the best. I mean, he knows what he signed up for. There's no wonder the guy walks about with his service pistol, even outside his own country. So you probably will understand why. I saw a video where these terrorists in the north central of Burkina Faso, I should have brought that to you anyway. So I saw the video of how they invaded a military base, a town, just same way, modus operandi, just same way. The Nigerian terrorists always, the same way they always kind of like operate. You get what I mean? So, and they said it is the regular occurrences in that place. Like people from rural areas, rural communities, and all of that who have borders with, they have been the victims of this organized, terrorism in Burkina Faso. Now, despite the fact that they have actually given so much, I'm talking about billions of dollars or billions of euros worth of resources to France for decades, right? France would rather partner with those who want all of them eliminated because a young man decided to, like Trump, a young man decided to make Burkina Faso first. Like, okay, make Burkina Faso great, right? Isn't that what the Americans are? Yeah, the MAGA Americans with Trump. But now somebody who is promoting something similar for the sake of his own people has got a target on his back. That's how bad it is. Anyway, I was going to take a break. I was going to take a break this evening. I don't know, somehow, I mean, it seems that I tend to need more rest these days, okay? So, and at the same time, I do not just want to not let you have a bit of a dish, right, of what we serve on this platform every evening. So I hope I get back fully this week, all right? So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. The African Wahala, Director Scott and others, right? Enjoy the rest of your evening. And happy Easter to you. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun Diary, Diary Politico.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o, kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí Facebook
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí YouTube
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
wọ́n bàbá gbé wúrẹ́
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
Presidio bá rúfin o
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
òkúra olóṣèlú
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀súnra kì
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.